Stugatz here for WordPress every day. Millions of people go online to search for local businesses. Does your small business show up? When you create a website on WordPress.com, you make it easier for your customers to find you, to connect with you, to hear how you can help them. Your business needs an online home. It needs a WordPress.com website. You don't need experience setting up a website. WordPress guides you through the process from start to finish. They take care of the technical stuff, so it's easy to get your site up and running. Their customer support team is amazing, and it's made up of WordPress experts eager to help you get the most from your site. They're available to help 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and weekends. Plans start at just $4 a month. That's an incredible value right there. Just $4 a month. And all WordPress plans include a custom domain name for the life of the plan. Come see why 28% of all websites run on WordPress. Get started today with 15% off any new plan purchase. Go to WordPress.com/Dan to create your website and find the plan that's right for you. That's WordPress.com/Dan for 15% off your brand new website. WordPress.com/Dan.
A new year has begun, and if you're setting new goals for your business, you need the right people on your team. And ZipRecruiter has transformed how you find them. ZipRecruiter posts your job to over 100 job boards with just one click. Then, they actively look for the most qualified candidates and invite them to apply. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Right now, our listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/Dan. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Dan.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz Podcast.
Amin Elhassan in with us today. We are always grateful for his presence. He will have a Blacken My Day at some point. I assume that. I'm looking at his eyes right now, and his eyes suggest that maybe he didn't do one this time.
The muse did not call on me this week.
Wow, very disappointing. We're starting there. We're starting with a profound disappointment.
Wish you had asked him that before the show started.
Yeah, that probably would have been better. Or the optimum effect, he would have done one. That would have been the best way to go on that. He would have just done his job, and then I would have asked him, So,
the Greg Cody is strong in you, man.
Man, it's unbelievable around here. Anyway, Mike Ryan just came in here and said, Stugatz Countdown wants you. It's the highlight of my career. And as he was doing that, the rejoin was playing, in which I realized that Amin is saying that Paul Pierce is not a Hall of Famer. I betrayed him by revealing that publicly when he had said it to me privately, and now Paul Pierce is an employee at the company, and Amin has to work with Paul next week.
To be clear, I didn't say he's not a Hall of Famer. I just said, not all Hall of Famers are created equally.
Regardless, it was a funny thing to see happen at the same time where Amin now has to go work with Paul Pierce.
I got to see the guy at work now.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. This happened to me already. This happened to me at a party. We were doing a live remote. Boog Shambi, who likes to cause problems for me, Reggie Miller was standing over me with a hand on my shoulder being interviewed by me. And Boog Shambi does this to me.
Are you a Hall of Famer?
No, there's too many other guys that are more deserving than I.
Le Batard, do you think he's going in?
No.
I think you are.
Yeah, you're going in. There's an underrated part of that story where Boog wrote down on a piece of paper to me, watch this, because I wanted to ask something. Watch this, and grabbed my knee under the table.
He knew I was going to answer honestly, even if Reggie Miller had his hand on my shoulder.
Another underrated part, after you say no, Boog jumps in and says, oh, I think you are.
Yeah, he did that, the whole thing. Play that again just so that everyone can see what a true bleep hole Boog Shambi is.
Are you a Hall of Famer?
No, there's too many other guys that are more deserving than I.
Le Batard, do you think he's going in?
No.
I think you are.
Yeah, you're going in.
Yeah.
He's so meek.
I mean, right? Because I knew what he did. He boxed me in. It's so much less aggressive than Liam Neeson's done.
But you set yourself up for that. Why'd you even ask that question?
No, I was asking Reggie if he thought, what do you mean I set myself up?
Yeah, you brought up the Hall of Fame, and then, you know.
I was asking
Well,
him
he didn't
if
think
he
his
thought.
right, you didn't think your good friend Boog was going to follow up with that.
He was just going to say no, and I'm like, he agrees with me. Where's he so humble? And I would have said that in my head. I wouldn't have said it out loud.
But why'd you say it so quietly?
Because I got defeated by my friend who checkmated me on air while knowing he was doing it and squeezing Stugatz's leg to boot.
You got to lie next time, man.
No.
So meek.
No.
No.
I was. I feel it. I shrank to the size of a postage stamp.
No.
Like, how are you going to handle that when Paul Pierce says, hey, I hear you think I'm not a Hall of Famer? What are you going to say to him?
I'm going to say I didn't say that.
Attaboy.
You can't lie.
I didn't say that.
Can we get the audio, please, and smoke him out? Let's play the audio here on the air of what happened that day with Amin and Paul Pierce. I don't know where we can find
There's
that.
no audio of that.
What do you mean there's no audio of that?
Well, you said it privately.
And then I smoked you out, and then you had to defend whatever your argument was.
That clip does not exist.
All right. Well, now you've challenged Chris Cody.
Let's hear that same Reggie Miller clip. I think part of it that makes it so bad is how meek your no is. But if it were like Liam Neeson's no.
It would see? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Are you a Hall of Famer?
No, there's too many other guys that are more deserving than I.
Le Batard, do you think he's going in?
No.
I think you are. Yeah, you're going in.
Now, if you don't know what the sound of that is,
Oh, man.
that is Liam Neeson saying very emphatically after sermonizing on the rights of women to equal pay, the follow-up question got something very aggressive from it.
There's a lot of discussion about it and a lot of healthy and necessary discussion about it because the disparity sometimes is disgraceful.
How do you think we can move past that?
We're starting, and it has to start, and it's starting with these extraordinary actresses and brave ladies, and we as men have got to be part of it. We started it, so we have to be part of the solution.
So would you take a pay cut to kind of equal things out?
No. Pay cut? No, that's going too far. No, there has to be parity. There just has to be.
It's the greatest audio I think we've ever played.
It got made better by Dan's emphatic table pounding that caused the soundboard to go meow.
It really is. I think that, if I were trying to create a comedy spoof, I couldn't do anything funnier than that. That I believe that Liam Neeson clip is, because he's not joking, the single funniest thing in the history of laughter.
No.
I disagree. I don't care how vehemently you disagree.
No.
That's how you say no when they ask you.
That's right.
No.
I love that he would do it that aggressively to that question, though.
Let's kill all that talk immediately.
Followed up by the no with the finger
right.
wagging,
In case I wasn't clear enough the first time, I have never felt more emasculated than here.
No, that's going too far.
That's going too far.
Than my no juxtaposed with his no.
It so seemed like he wanted to be the guy that would be willing to take a pay cut.
Are you a Hall of Famer?
No, there's too many other guys that are more deserving than I.
Le Batard, do you think he's going in?
No.
I think you are. Yeah, you're going in.
Yeah.
Let's really, though, circle back around. Stu Gatz on Countdown.
Yeah.
To talk about Blake Bortles, who I think is going to end up in the bleeping Super Bowl, because the only thing that beats the Patriots is pass rush, ever. The only thing that beats them, the only thing that makes Brady look human is pass rush. And Blake Bortles is literally the only thing. That team is so good in Jacksonville. He's the only thing standing between that team and being better than everybody.
But you have them beating the Patriots? Because I view it the same way as I did the Titans game. Like, they're going to stop Henry, and in this case, they're going to stop Fournette, and Blake Bortles beat us on the road in an AFC championship. Yep. Go ahead.
See, I'm surprised that maybe not that the Jags will win, but in the Stu Gatz picks, he took the Patriots -9.
I did.
You think they're going to win that resoundingly?
I do, yeah. I don't. Well, first off, I think the Patriots defense is a bit underrated. I think they're better than people think, and I just the Steelers put up 40-something on Jacksonville.
Okay, so this is all I would say to you. If you look at all of the numbers, and they're amazing, Bill Barnwell has done some amazing work on how separated by point differential the Patriots are over the last 15 years by everybody in the sport. Like the things that they have done during this time are flabbergasting in terms of separating themselves from the rest of the league. But the only thing that stops Brady in New England is what's coming in this weekend. Jacksonville has the thing. It's not quarterbacks who beat Brady. It's
rush.
this thing coming into New England. Tom Brady wanted the Steelers to win that football game. Tom Brady did not want this coming to that stadium. And Blake Bortles is the only thing that gets in the way of it, because you're going to see mortal Brady this weekend, because that defense will not allow him to do what he normally does at all.
I mean, couldn't you say the same about Roethlisberger? And he put up big numbers against that defense.
That's a historic defense, okay? Roethlisberger put up all those numbers. Yes, he did. And look, those skill guys are crazy for Pittsburgh.
I know. Tom Brady's pretty good, too, though.
Okay. And what I'm saying...
And Gronk's pretty good.
Stugotz, but okay. Look, you're making the easy argument. Right. Everyone agrees with you. I'm just telling you that the only thing in the history of this team that beats them is coming in there this weekend.
Well, I think what Amin is saying is he's surprised to hear me say, if you're taking the Patriots -9, you think it's going to be a blowout. And yes, I'm saying I think the Patriots are going to win by double digits.
What I'm saying is a combination of I'm surprised that you're that confident in the Patriots, and I'm with Dan. It's that their kryptonite is a front four that is really aggressive, right? And obviously a secondary that's top notch as well. When you look at the two Super Bowls they lost to the Giants, it was that. It was Justin Tuck and Osi Umenyiora and
it's
Strahan.
the Ravens, it's the Jets.
It was the Jets who beat them on the road in the playoffs because they had a good defense.
That's the teams that give them a problem. And so what he's saying, I agree 100%. Brady would have rather seen the Steelers, because even though the Steelers, we could argue that they're a more complete team, they're not elite at the one thing that ruins Brady's day.
That's why it confuses me why some people can't wrap their brains around Blake Bortles beating Tom Brady. Well, look at the quarterbacks that have in the playoffs won at Foxborough. Joe Flacco and Mark Sanchez. This isn't exactly, Peyton Manning going in there and proving a point.
Was it Sims who was talking about you putting the quarterback on a pedestal, like 4-year-old virgin? Putting the other. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's like, it's idea. People say Bortles can't beat Brady, but it's not Bortles versus Brady.
Jacksonville is very, very strong.
Don Le Batard.
What would you say, Stugotz? I feel like you misrepresent me all the time. You've been doing this show with me for a long time. What is my viewpoint about coaches? Because I feel like they
don't matter at all. Misrepresentation?
Stugotz.
I don't even know why I bothered asking you.
What do you mean?
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
The things going around making everybody sick in America have infected our show. And Stugotz is a hypochondriac.
Yep.
And Stugotz is also someone who has promised me that he was going to stop having ideas. He's always got ideas. Stugotz has 100 ideas a day on things he wants to do, and it makes him exhausted. And it's going to end up killing him one day, because he wants everything in the world to come to fruition. Even as Countdown is coming in to the room right now, and they want to interview Stugotz about Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
He always wants more and more and wants ideas to be out there. And so now he has suggested, Guillermo, listen to this. This is what he was suggesting during the break.
It's a good idea.
On radio, he says that what we should do is we should make a comment, because all of us are wearing surgical masks. We should make a comment and then pull down our mask to reveal whether we're smiling or angry.
Guillermo likes it. The entire shipping container likes it, actually.
For the radio.
For the radio. I mean, we'll have to paint pictures with words. You do a great job of that. I mean,
Stugotz is smiling.
Oh, yes. You make the statement.
Yeah, it works.
We go around the room. You think he's smiling?
It's one of the worst ideas I've ever heard.
Well, we all think it's a good one.
I think you're throwing out the baby with the bathwater here.
We're a radio show.
Yeah.
You're doing a visual gag. What part are you not understanding about this is a bad idea?
I mean, there's a TV audience as well. We just have to explain to the listeners who are listening on the radio what it is that we're doing. I don't think it's such a terrible idea.
There are millions of radio listeners.
Mike gets it.
There are like 100,000 television viewers.
Don't knock it till you try it, man. You don't know.
Chris Sims is going to join us at 12:30. He's got to be. I can't even imagine what Chris Sims is going through right now as our Bleacher Report expert, who has been crushing Blake Bortles in a public way the way no one else has. And even though he's right about the Jacksonville having a remedial offense and Blake Bortles not being trusted to do anything in that offense, Jacksonville is on the precipice here of winning the Super Bowl.
See, I think you're taking the wrong approach here. I think Chris Sims has catapulted into stardom. This is the first time He's truly out of his father's shadow. He is famous for being Chris Sims for the first time in his life. This is the best thing that's ever happened. If Bortles had gotten knocked out in the first round, this bit would be all right, but it doesn't have the same power as him keep winning.
He played in the NFL. Chris Sims played
in the NFL. This is the height of his popularity.
He was a quarterback at Texas.
Yes.
This is the height of his popularity.
No, this is the height of his popularity. Amin is right.
You guys are crazy.
I don't know if it's the height of his popularity.
No, Stugatz, don't back up on it.
No, it's the height of him being relevant. It's the height of his relevancy.
Thank you.
It is.
Yes.
Because I'm going on Countdown to talk about how disrespected Blake Bortles is, and Chris Sims is the face of disrespecting and the voice of disrespecting
Wait a minute. Is Stugatz already planning his heel turn on Chris Sims to go on Countdown and defend Blake Bortles? Are you going on Countdown to be like the big advocate for Blake Bortles? Is that what you're going to pretend to be?
I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Can we put it on the poll and have the fans decide what side Stugatz should take on Countdown today?
Yes, that's a great idea.
We had Sims on. You've been sick all week, so we had Sims on, and he said he didn't care about everyone who was killing him on Twitter.
The know-nothings.
He simply did not care. He did reveal, and he made a great point. Jacksonville was up 28-7 in that game, and when they were up 28-7, Blake Bortles only had like 82 yards passing in that game. But he said everyone at Bleacher Report, they watch the games together, and any time Bortles completes a pass, whether it's a yard or 40 yards, everyone starts staring, pointing, and laughing at Chris Sims.
It's such a magical parody. It really has become this great, funny performance art thing because Chris Sims is right about what he's saying, even though he said it hyperbolically. That hell, Marone told you before the season started, I'll trust Fournette. My attitude with Bortles is I'm going to trust Fournette. Like, he didn't trust. The own coach came out before the season and says you don't trust him, and then they built their entire offense to be so remedial that all it does is somehow protect him.
But do you disagree with me? Saying that this is a great moment for Chris Sims?
Well, no, this is why I disagree with you, because as badly as I always want reality to be reality, perception becomes reality, and you are a very bad advocate for Chris Sims to have on this because you were so adamant that the Warriors were going to beat the Cavs, and you were so wrong, and you got beaten down by everybody on it. You looked publicly wrong, even though I don't think you were wrong. Right. But you lost that with everybody, and then you dug in and started defending your position, and you look like a real bleep hole. And Chris Sims is taking all of this in stride.
Oh, is he? He called everybody know-nothings and said, I'm still right. He did the same thing I did.
It gets frustrating. Yes, it gets frustrating.
That's why I appreciate, because he's right. Regardless, they win the Super Bowl. Chris Sims is still right.
But that's why I think it's great performance art that he's going to still be ranking quarterback. If we could get Blake Bortles to win the Super Bowl and Chris Sims still 6 weeks later is still ranking quarterback?
Yeah.
All the guys he beat are ranked in front of him. Yes, it's fantastic.
It's unbelievable.
Including his backup.
His backup.
What has happened around here with this particular subject, it's funny.
By the way, only 10 more Chris Sims appearances till we're halfway done.
Time for Dan to reluctantly take part in something Stugatz couldn't be happier doing.
I mean, seriously. What thing did we stumble into here? Like, Chris Sims at the end of it is going to look like Tom Hanks in Castaway because he's fighting everybody. I was just doing a funny thing.
It's going to be opening day of baseball season. He'll still be ranking quarterbacks on the show.
Who did Tom Hanks fight in Castaway?
The elements.
Mother Nature. I mean,
hunger,
death.
Yeah, I mean,
everything.
Dark thoughts,
despair, loneliness, the ocean, the sun.
What? Death?
I feel like
how much more would you have liked Tom Hanks to fight in Castaway?
And natives?
An ice skate.
I think that's fair, actually. Right? There were no natives to deal with. I mean, it was kind of easy being stranded on that island.
Oh, man, I didn't have to worry about
it. It was easy. Yeah, that's what I thought while watching Castaway. That looks easy. I could do that.
Tropical.
Business tropical.
Get away from the wife and nagging.
Yeah, just enjoy the silence.
Dan Le Batard.
What is the most pathetic you've felt, moved to tears by something inanimate in the movies, like a robot or E.T.
Wilson.
Really, a volleyball?
Wilson.
That's
when
a pretty
he
good
loses
nominee.
Wilson.
I mean, but gosh, I didn't feel anything. I felt the whole time that's just a volleyball.
Stugatz
was his best friend. It was more than
I know,
volleyball.
but I didn't feel that one. They didn't create the character of the volleyball well enough for me in Castaway for me to buy. Like, it was just a volleyball floating away with a bloody handprint on it.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Here's your SportsCenter update. The NBA has suspended Trevor Ariza and Gerald Green 2 games each. No discipline for any of the Clippers. The NFL has announced that Gene Steratore will be the referee for Super Bowl 52. And finally, a man was kicked out of a British Airways flight for wearing all his clothes to avoid a baggage fee. A heady play. Wendy's 4 for $4 is better than ever. Now you have 8 different sandwich options, along with nuggets, a small fry, and a small drink, all for just $4. Pick from favorites like the Double Stack, Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, Spicy Chicken Go Wrap, and many more. Available at participating Wendy's for a limited time. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
How can it be a heady play if he got kicked off the flight?
Well, I think the thought going into it was, I think that's a smart move. I blame British Airways.
I do.
That. Yeah.
Why,
Okay, but can it be a heady play if it doesn't work?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
how can you tell a man that he can't go on an airplane that way? If he chooses to go on an airplane wearing all his clothes, how is that inconveniencing anyone?
Well, I think that you probably have some security issues with that. You're not allowed to go through security as the Michelin Man? No?
Well, you have to,
with all that stuff on?
When you walk through security, they say, hey, remove your outerwear. So the guy just,
But he got to the flight, Dan.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
he's on
he
the
went
plane.
through security. He got to the plane. Then British Airways said, no, get off our plane.
Shame on you, British Airways.
Yes.
Shame on you, British Airways.
Yeah.
It's a terrible job.
They're mad because he found the loophole in the system.
First off, the airline shouldn't be charging us for bags in the first place. We pay enough to get where we want to go.
I believe this is your bias. Both of you here, this is where this comes from, and you will get everyone to rally to your side on this because everyone feels like the airline should stop. They gave it to us for free once, and now they charge us for us. Yeah, and everyone hates that. So you guys are in the popular position.
It's annoying. Listen, I'm going to an airport. I'm trying to get where I want to get to, and I got to weigh my bag, and then when it weighs too much, and my wife is pulling shoes out of one suitcase and putting them in another, stop inconveniencing me, man.
And
seriously.
And once I've submitted to your silly rules and regulations, you can't get mad because I beat you.
Right.
They're mad because he beat them.
Found the loophole.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Should you be allowed to circumvent baggage costs by wearing everything in your suitcase? Should that be allowed by TSA? That's a question that Amin and Stugotz are insisting gets put in front of the audience, and they're going to win because people hate baggage claim that much.
Such an easy stand.
And again, I think we got to be clear. It's not a security issue because he made it through security.
Right.
Okay.
So that was an airline salty because you got beat around your stupid rule.
That's a good point by you. Yeah. Amin El Hassan with us here, and he will be with us here all day. And earlier in the show, we do a local hour before we do the national show. Former Marlins team president David Sampson comes on with us and reviews movies. And Amin and Stugotz are still mad at him about some of the things that he said because his movie tastes run so much differently than Stugotz's do.
Yeah, he had an action movie Hall of Fame in which he said if Sylvester Stallone, what does he do? He makes action movies, and some of the greatest of all time, he said if he's in the movie, it's not in his action movie Hall of Fame.
These are his rules. He says, in order to be in the Action Movie Hall of Fame, you can't have Stallone in it, which doesn't make sense.
It takes out Tango and Cash. It takes out Cobra. It takes out so many. It takes out Rambo.
He said Rambo was a war movie. Come on, man. It's Rambo.
Right, he had it in there with Platoon.
Exactly.
I so wish I could have seen your face behind that surgical mask, the disgust with which you delivered. Come on, man.
And by the way, let's just also say that his lists tend to skew a certain way. You want me to do an impromptu Black in My Day? We can do one on
No,
David
I would
Sampson.
like you to do a prepared one. Okay. Can you do that?
Not today.
Okay, that's too bad. Billy, you're going to choke up laughing. What are you eating now?
This is a chewy chocolate chip, but this is a big chewy. That's a good one. Big one.
Oh, the big one.
Yeah, the big ones are good.
The big one. Yeah, I love that.
Oh, man, Dan, the other day at Publix, I got a 48-pack for like $7. What a steal.
No way.
Variety pack.
No way.
Chocolate chip, dark chocolate, peanut butter chocolate chip.
Oh.
A steal.
Yes.
$7 for 48.
Awesome.
48 for $7?
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That guy, of course. Can you guys help me with something? Because I discovered while I was flu-ridden, I watched a lot of television. And I am maintaining, and I don't know who put me on this. Mike, was it you? Allison saying it wasn't her. The first season of Fargo, I could argue, is the best television I've ever seen. Putting it in there with, Planet Earth, Breaking Bad, the best things that I've ever seen television make.
Right up there with Monday Night Football?
I would not put Monday Night Football in that class.
You're the only one.
The Wire, whatever it is that you believe to be the greatest.
Stump the Schwab. I mean,
the greatest
First Take.
Countdown with Stu Gatz breaking down Blake Bortles. Yeah. And one of the characters in here, and I remember the last time that we got fixated on one of these things was when Javier Bardem was playing. Did I get it wrong?
Yes.
Bardem.
I don't know how to pronounce it either.
It's Bardem, but you made him into Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, it sounded like Bardem.
Damn.
Wait a minute. That was not a fine.
No, you're fine.
Regardless.
I'll blame it on the surgical mask.
Anton Chigurh, the character that he plays in No Country for Old Men. I remember when that character appeared, we had the conversation about, is this the greatest bad guy in the history of the movies? Like with Hannibal Lecter or whoever it is that you believe is the greatest bad guy. And what I'm telling you is that Billy Bob Thornton's role in this season, it felt like an 11-hour Coen Brothers movie, is one of the best bad guys I've ever seen across whatever entertainment is.
I hear that show actually gets better as the seasons progress because it's sort of like a True Detective series. It's a different story each season.
I thought one of you guys put me onto this because I was fixated. I felt as bad as I've felt for the last 4 days, and the thing that carried me through was just watching this and the idea that somebody could be creative enough to produce this show, which felt like watching an 11-hour Coen Brothers movie.
I wish I could take credit for that. My dad's been hounding me to watch this show, always texting me.
Well, did you like Fargo? Did you guys like Fargo?
I love the movie. Yeah, the movie's
But what I'm saying is, this is like the movie for 11 hours.
Isn't that weird though? Where TV has found itself, where TV used to be like this redheaded stepchild. You wanted to be in the movies. Movies was where all the great writing was and where all the great ideas were. And now we've reached this level where TV is where it's at.
Well, it feels like movies, though. That's why. TV shows are feeling like movies. That's why.
I mean, that is what happened to me while I was watching this. I was mesmerized by possibility the way that I was when I first saw MTV on television or when I learned that Disney existed, like all the stuff.
It's that kind of...
I'm watching this show and I'm like, this acting is the best I've seen. This writing is the best I've seen. This cinematography is the best I've seen. I'm like, this is a work of art, what it is that I am watching here. And I stumbled upon it in a way that makes me think how much different eventually television is going to end up being because people are making this kind of content.
It's so awesome that big-time stars are doing television shows. J.K. Simmons has a show coming out next week. This Waco miniseries starts on what is now known as Spike, but will be known next week as Paramount Network about Waco, Texas. And Michael Shannon's in that. It's awesome.
Not only that, the Versace one.
I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, I'm waiting to get home so I can watch
this.
This
is the golden age of television. We're in it right now. But one of the things that I was talking with you guys about during the local hour when I was talking about Netflix is I'm just flipping through the channels and I'm just stumbling on Jack Black as the Polka King in one place, Adam Sandler as Sandy Wexler somewhere else, that all of these guys are going, that stuff doesn't have to be good. All of these guys are flooding to the Netflix money.
You guys watched a lot of TV while I was working.
Don Le Batard.
Bill Belichick has told his players that despite the blizzard that's expected in the New England area, the Patriots will hold its final practices during its playoff bye week. No excuses for being late. Moron.
Stugats.
Don't do that.
Sorry. No excuses for being late. I'm sorry.
If he needs it, you got to give it to him. He's helping Bill.
He is displaying behavior, that of a moron. That's all I'm saying. Save it. We're good. You kick, save, and abuse.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
All right, this just happened in my life a second ago. Well, a couple of things, actually, that are funny. But Stugats just said to me, Dan, you got to hear my Cubs take. And that, wait a minute. Amin, just before that, asked me, Dan, is Outbreak an action movie? Now, let's keep going back on this for a second.
Yeah.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is Outbreak an action movie? But Stugat said to me, because I was just in here and I drank some coffee and it went down the wrong pipe. And so I started coughing vigorously. So I'm wearing a surgical mask. I'm wearing gloves. I look bloated, kind of salamander colored. I am sweating in layers. I look, as Mike described me earlier, as lacquered. Okay? And so now imagine all of this happening while I'm coughing and wheezing. And so I looked up, and Janicki and Allison, two women, they had what looked like fear in their eyes. I was looking at them, and I was worried on their behalf because I'm like, no, I'm not dying. This is not you witnessing my death, which I see in the fear in your eyes. This is just I drank coffee wrong. And then I say to Stugatz, and how is it that you're looking at me? And Stugatz says, well, I'm looking at you like you're the monkey in Outbreak.
The source.
And so Amin then asked me, is Outbreak an action movie?
Good question.
And that chopper scene.
It's debatable. There's urgency, but there's not a lot of like hand-to-hand combat.
There's certainly urgency.
Wait a minute. Then what's the difference between a thriller and an action movie?
It can be an action thriller. An action thriller.
Well, it can be, but
yes.
I don't think Outbreak is either of those things.
In general, an action movie has hand-to-hand combat and explosions. Those are the two things that have to happen.
Correct.
But
yes.
if it's
and a thriller is just kind of that tension.
But for the action movie to involve a monkey, the monkey has to harm people not through virus means, through menacing monkey
physical
means.
contact, yes.
Menacing monkey means.
Yeah.
Right, but I think Amin brought up an interesting, actually a very good point, is with a thriller, you have to think a little bit, okay? What's going to happen at the end? With an action movie, listen, I know Rambo's going to kill everyone.
There you go.
It's just a matter of how we get to him killing everyone. It's
the journey.
And I still enjoy it when he kills everyone. I don't have to think. It's just there.
The journey.
Yeah.
All right, we've got an epic sound of the day to get to, and we've got this Cubs take. What is this Cubs take that I have to hear?
Glorious.
Can you guys find it for me? All right, before we get to the Cubs take, let's get to Guillermo's epic sound of the day.
Time now for Guillermo's epic sound of the day. It is going to be epic.
Hey guys,
Hello, Guillermo.
you guys familiar with Ed Helms?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, he was on Anna Faris's podcast, and they were talking about, he had a movie coming out and red carpets and just questions that they get asked in the media and questions they like answering, questions they don't like answering. So here's him answering a question or bringing up a question that he thought was odd, and this is courtesy of Anna Faris's Unqualified and Unqualified Media.
Sometimes I would get like, what do you think about Beyonce and her twins? And it's like,
yeah, I've gotten pretty good at just deflecting a lot of that stuff. Like, I'll literally say in an interview, pass. Like, I did that the other day. Someone, I was on
I don't know if
I was on a radio, one of those morning Zoo Crew radio interview kind of thing. Yeah.
Ed, it's Zippy and the Juice.
Yeah, they just scream at you for like 10 minutes.
Hey, good morning, Ed.
And I was literally asked, do you wipe standing up or sitting down? And I just said, pass. I'd rather not just give the world that image of me. Thank you. First of all, I mean, can we deconstruct it for a second?
Yep, let's do it.
So you gonna talk about it?
Well, let's not. Let's not.
I was waiting to see where you were going with this. I was excited to see where you're going.
Well, do people stand up? I don't.
What if you're
What
in
if
a hurry?
you do? Sure.
And
or what? Yeah. What if it's
what if you have a bidet that's
Sure.
positioned vertically?
Yep. There's lots of. Or what if you're using a urinal?
That's right. You tell them, Dan.
to go number 2. It's a very confusing. Yeah, it's a very confusing situation. But yeah, I think it's good to. I think it's good to pass occasionally.
I mean, seriously.
Wait a minute. Hangover.
Next time he wants to come on the show, I'm going to pass on him.
Let this man talk.
Hangover face. came on to promote his movie, and on this wacky morning show hijinks thing, what did they call it?
Zippy and the Bee. Well, the first one, she said
Zippy and the Juice.
Juice, but she dragged
Make
Juice.
imaging, please.
She made Juice.
Next segment. We come back as Zippy and the Juice. Next segment, Roy.
She dragged Juice a lot, really uncomfortably long. Juice. I'm guessing that you're
Zippy.
You're Zippy.
Okay, but then you guys started talking about it, and Ed Helms still doesn't know that a lot of people in America, white privilege Ed Helms, what? Stand up and wipe. They stand up and wipe. A lot of people, not everyone does it the way that you do it.
I finally got the end in this new title.
Wait a minute. Are you, which one are you? Zippy or the Juice?
It doesn't matter. There's an end there. Yes.
It doesn't matter. Your name is on the show.
Zippy. He's the Juice. With S at the end.
You're not allowed to rip our morning hijinks, morning zoo show and then use it for content while you guys wonder aloud whether or not there's such a thing as standing wipers. We were doing that 5 years ago, Ed Helms. Catch up, man.
Hello, I'd like to deposit this to checking. Fate is a fickle master. What? The future is uncertain. Okay, and what's my account balance? The horizon is cloudy. I see a long, treacherous voyage filled with great peril. Look, can I just get a deposit slip or something?
A fortune bank teller. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I see a yellow-eyed serpent and a low APR.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.